that we recognize that that's a vehicle for them to communicate, but it's also a vehicle for them to advocate and really put things into motion, put things into action.
You're listening to the smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs. This is our District Talk segment where we interview district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday shine online. Now, let's get back to the interview.
Hi, I'm Gary Waddell, Superintendent of Santa Clara Unified School District here in the Silicon Valley. We have about 14,000 students across 30 schools.
My name is Patrick Gittisriboongul. I am currently the Assistant Superintendent of Technology and Innovation with Lynwood Unified School District. Lynwood Unified is located in the city of Lynwood in LA County. We support about 12,000 students across 12 elementary, 2 middle, 2 high schools, continuation high school, and an adult school.
My name is Greg Gazanian. I'm the Chief Strategy and Innovation Officer for the Arcadia Unified School District. We have about 9,000 students at 11 school sites, and we are in the suburbs of Los Angeles.
How has the prevalence of technology in the classroom impacted student learning and engagement?
I think when we first started down this road, we were replicating paper and pencil tasks, things that were happening anyway. And then the promise of technology, really, in my view, is to expand the walls of the classroom, to connect children with and youth with others who are not geographically close to them, to bring opportunity, both in terms of the information that they receive and also the kinds of things that they're able to produce.
I think when it comes to technology and post-pandemic, what we've seen now is just that kids are coming to school a lot more technologically savvy than they were before. And so, previously we've talked about digital natives and, digital immigrants, if you will. I think everyone now, post-pandemic, we see it. I think we're experiencing everyone that has a level of expectation, a level of sophistication when it comes to technology use in the classroom that we've never experienced before. And so being able to have content that is online, classrooms that are online, being able to have students access materials and curriculum that is online, I think that has really changed and transformed how we really provide teaching and learning to our students.
I think one of the biggest ways that technology in the classroom has impacted student learning and engagement is just the accessibility that our students have to information. I think that goes back a ways now. The internet has been available for a long time, but especially when we went one-to-one with devices in our classroom, any student who has a question or an idea can explore it really in a very direct and engaged way. So I think having that technology available and really the accessibility to provide students agency to explore those ideas has been absolutely game-changing in education for us.
What advice would you give to other school districts to deal with social media issues that might originate on a social media app, but then create a very real problem on campus?
That's a great question about how we can really engage with our students around social media issues. And we really take an approach of developing media literacy skills, and we start that early. And we believe that those skills are just as essential to our kids as many of the others in the world that we're preparing them for, and in many ways that they'll be leading. So engaging in those conversations, helping kids to be self-reflective and their use of social media, helping families understand the interplay and the issues relative to it, as well as what all that has to offer in terms of instruction and teaching and learning. All of those are opportunities.
Goes back to the type of conversations that are happening on social media. Sometimes they're extensions of what occurs in real life, in classrooms or in school campuses. And so being able to have that dialogue, being able to have that conversation early on is something that can really help get out ahead of things that are going to happen in social media. Being able to understand that social media is a mechanism for kids to communicate, whether it's back channel conversations, in classroom conversations with different networks that kids have. It's important to really recognize that there are different ways that students are communicating across the board these days. They're able to communicate across all mediums, all channels, all social media tools, you name it, they're on it. So as adults and as teachers and as educators, it's just important for us to really monitor what's happening, have that dialogue, up ahead of time in front of, that way you can really anticipate some of the conversations that are going to happen offline or on social media or on any of these chat tools, Discord. It's really getting out ahead of it rather than chasing your tails, because these tools are just they're expansive, they're everywhere. So, kids are they're just a lot more sophisticated than we give them credit for. And so whether they're on Discord, whether they're on Instagram, in the DMs, in any of these little back channel ways that they're able to communicate, it's happening through video games, through, even through Google Docs. You may think that they're doing work, right? But sometimes even that conversation is happening on Google Docs as well. So being able to get out ahead of what's happening when it comes to communication with children and students is definitely important.
One of the most effective ways that we found to deal with issues on social media that may be happening off of campus is it's really to be proactive and to have as healthy of a school and classroom community as we can before the issue starts. We do a lot of restorative practices, meaning we have class meetings, we have class circles. If there's any type of disagreement among students or even with staff, we'll sit down and talk it through. So I really, truly believe that if you can build a healthy community before the issue happens, once it does happen, whether on or off campus, there's a healthy venue for students and staff to be able to talk through those issues. So having that community has really helped us navigate that.
Can you provide some examples of how your students may have used their social media in a positive or productive way that may have benefited themselves, their community, the school district, or anyone else?
We have a number of examples. One that comes instantly to mind is our Student Senate and Superintendent Student Council. They had a project last year to work with us on our fentanyl awareness campaign, and they used social media to engage their peers in the dangers of fentanyl, the just issues around the opioid epidemic, in ways that were much more powerful coming to their peers than the messages that we were sending out as a district.
When it comes to social media, because our students use it on a daily basis, they're able to really generate buzz around, things that are happening on campus, whether it's, their student government, whether it's, access to curriculum and materials and instruction, whether it's advocacy around the community, really trying to advocate for, let's say, higher wages, advocating for changes within a curriculum, advocating for changes in our facilities. So I think having student voice is really where I think that's a positive use for social media. Students are often, we often don't give them enough credit for leveraging social media. We recognize that that's a vehicle for them to communicate, but it's also a vehicle for them to advocate and really put things into motion, put things into action. We've seen that, on an ongoing basis, whether it's the food in our lunch line, advocating for changes in the food, advocating for changes in curriculum, advocating for changes in our Wi-Fi, improvements in our Wi-Fi. So I think that is really important. It gives students agency. It allows them to really advocate for themselves. It teaches them real world skills that really help provide social media in a positive light, and really using it as a vehicle to change their community and to really uplift the community as well.
During the last economic downturn, some of our support groups, our community support groups for our school district, were doing fundraising. And we had students take to social media and just share some of the stories of what that extra funding could do to support their classes, support their clubs, support their teams. And they really took to social media as a way to tell our story and what that extra support could do for them and in our school district. In a smaller example, I'll say that our students use social media to connect with other students who share interests of theirs. We have a lot of clubs at Arcadia High School, and not only are they able to connect with a club, for example, in a technology club or a cybersecurity club or a health club, but they're able to connect with other students who have those interests all over the country. And I think having that venue of social media to connect with others of like mind and like interests has been a really powerful tool for them.
In the age of one-to-one, how are you preparing students for positive technology use, both in the classroom and at home?
We are a one-to-one district. We provide devices to all of our students. So it raises a lot of issues. There are amazing opportunities there, but it also raises issues about digital citizenship and access that students have. So we have a variety of systems that we put in place to help monitor that, but also really to help kids become informed and aware, knowledgeable consumers and users of technology.
So with one-to-one, I think one of the ways that we're really trying to make sure that our students are able to use this effectively is really focusing around digital literacy. Digital literacy is something that is often not, well, we often say we're able to teach it, right? That domain of digital literacy not only starts with the type of bandwidth you have at home, but it also talks about the type of device you have, the type of tools you're accessing, the type of content you're viewing, the type of websites you're accessing as well. So it's a combination of really strategies and tools in which, our students really need to be provided with the type of skills and strategies that allow them to decipher what is accurate, what isn't accurate, how they're accessing this content through multiple mediums. It's really important for them to really recognize and understand digital literacy in a deep and thoughtful way, in a way that us adults, we may think that, hey, you know what, just having them get online, right, getting access to this website, this URL is enough. But to me, as an educator, as an administrator, it's not enough. It's having that second conversation around, okay, what did you learn from accessing this website? What did you learn from accessing this tool? What did you gain from, accessing this AI chatbot, this AI tool that you didn't get? What are then the essential understandings, the essential questions that you're going to have? How do you then provide, an analysis of it? How do you really decipher and critique the type of responses you get, critique the type of content that you're given? I think it's really important that digital literacy really be embedded in everything that students are doing, on a daily and weekly and monthly basis. It's something that we often talk about, but again, it just needs that second level of questioning, that second level of just inquiry, where our teachers, our staff, our adults, our parents need to have that additional conversation that goes on top.
I find one of the most important things we've done to prepare students for healthy technology use is to know when to use it and when to not use it. Meaning, I think when it's time for research, when it's time to get some new ideas, it absolutely makes sense for students to jump on that device and explore, maybe in an individual sort of way. However, we also build into our classes and our technology uses a time to shut the lid, so to speak, on the device, and to speak one-on-one or in groups with other students in person, to go for a walk, to get some physical exercise. And I think really it's sharing that balance that has been the most effective tool for our students. That there's a time to engage in technology, oftentimes just alone on that device. And there are times where it really makes sense to connect in a non-digital way. And having that balance really, I think, is a lesson that will serve them well for the rest of their lives.
Thanks for listening to our smartsocial.com podcast. I'm your host, Josh Ochs. This was our District Talk segment where we interview school district leaders to learn how they're keeping students safe on social media so those students can someday launch into their future by shining online. This episode was brought to you by our smartsocial.com VIP program. It's called the Very Informed Parent Program, which helps you engage your students with teen-led video lessons. Stay one step ahead with our premium parent newsletter and discover hidden features on trending apps on teens' phones and our 54+ live parent and student-friendly events every single year. You can click on the link below to chat with one of our team members if you want a free pass to our VIP program to support your community with our smartsocial.com resources. And if you're a district leader who has a success story, we would love to feature you on a future episode. You can click the links below to reach out. Thanks so much for listening, and we look forward to seeing you on the next episode. Have a great day.